시가 당 잡지 다다 준대 냠대 초진의 지금 셰기가 당아도 성미 지금 왜 지금 다 배치 좀 나와서 받는 지금 등나다 나와서 뭐 지금 미식 삼중합 상황이 그렇죠 없이 총라 근데 나치 시에당 년세의 샤바보 문제를 지금 한숨지 근이랑 시에고 우리 냠바부 강섭병인데 오늘 좀 소소로 판도지 용나서 몇 년 바이나 펜토리오 시간이나 성지가 로퍼 년다 일라종 뜨가성도나 당보 글롱도 정마지나 칠로이나 카톡으로 소소가 당보 글롱 정마지 치년 바이나 델라템비 다 니와들 신노들은 소소길라다 당도 연구 또 마도 글롱 말길 당 네 지금 말소나 딱 지금 레슨다 딱시 당하고 데리 상도 지금 당내지나 그 데리 지금 마도 연구도 보고 대사 안에 이렇게 유지 근데 가짜가를 시작해도 또 년진이 뒤나는 삽시로진이 또 배나로 첨지로 수당도 따니 디노 근데 코딩하다 이것도 펜도 요르스나 또 소소 배추 당고 일라종 샘나 점진이 양즈 삼도 당내 때 일라 저지 양즈 삼도나 또 곰즈는 또 곰바티 양즈는 또 곰천 곰지 때나 디 소소 삼도 당서 샘다 수년들 때 탄일의 예를 좀 알아서 상매했던 거 아주 샘다 답 나왔지 아주 가르로 좀 아주 제가 안에 지금 시험 형지 상지기 샘 그리고 지금 하점 그 아주나 루무치 나중에 때 전담에 뵙더니 니와 먹고 아주 제가 요 때마다 수 듣고요 배주 당 듣고요 근데 스텝으로 사오나 근데 쇼치라 아주 많은 것들이 많아서 샘 특자도 적시를 당 때문에 소바 차도로 소바 때문에 아주 무지바죠 그들 쪽에 당시 탐신도 강지 맞아요 때 아주 망쳐 아주 디쇼라 배주 땅이었죠 아주 벌치던데 노고 됐던 지난 아주 리스미가라 안에 지금 냄과장에로 손이 차요 상부고 차던 자 차기가 있어요 됐던 아주 상부고 차도 냄토와이나 아주 저희 무기는 아주 내킨도 받아 등음도 와서 내킨도 받고 탈름도 연구 단 냄과도 야마시 네가 대바이나 아니 rum지 dengan tiung gor ta yung tensata dewa do jaktem i런 게 dewa da 좀 ne course chi ma tang de tiung gor ta se wata so muil te keje ne 대랑 없는 년지 년주 때 삼로 당내 어디는 내 그냥 소 판통 요아지 요는 세마 점지 세마 좀 봐서 놀린다고 그랬어 같이 모르세요.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for coming, and as always, it's good to see you. We always need to ask a question ourselves before we attempt to do anything, particularly in this kind of situation. And so we need to ask why we're here, for what particular reason. And obviously our answer is that we're here because we wish to be happy and to understand the way and then to be happy. And also we realize that there are problems and our life is not content, and even there are sufferings. So we would like to address that suffering and to fix it. So keep this. This is our kind of innate, natural tendency or natural inclination. If you keep this in your mind, and then everything will begin to make sense. Or much better sense, and so having said that, and we both have to work on the same page, and this means that from the commentator or the teacher and whoever commenting on the Buddha Dharma, and who has to also have this equal and same understanding and same motivation. Then his comments and in the way he explains the scripture and it would be beneficial at the same time, from the seekers of Dharma knowledge, knowledge of Dharma, and or the listener and the practitioner, the student of the Buddha Dharma. Again, so if you keep this basic intention and have this in your mind very clearly, and then you will benefit the it will benefit you greatly, because Buddha said in Sutra, in fact, that he taught the same thing in the Sutra and to his disciple back to his own while he was preaching. So he says, listen very attentively and memorize or bring them into heart or remember them in your mind. So listen attentively and keep it and what you have heard in your mind. That is the Buddha's advice, personal advice to his group of students back then and Buddha's time. So here, and I would argue that it is still the same. This is the same. This is true to our context in our context or the contemporary settings. This is because if you keep this very innate, the basic motivation, that is, you want to be happy and you want to understand the causes of happiness, and you wish to vanish, or you're trying to get rid of the causes of the suffering and causes of suffering, then you do need to have this kind of mentality and attitude, meaning is listen attentively and see if there are things which is very make a great sense and which is really answer the questions you have, or you really you understand it. You think that's really the best advice, and then you keep them right upon to hear it. You needed to hold them in your mind. So that very memory or retention and or bring into your heart is technically in the particular religious environment, which we call a blessing, or in Tibetan called chenlab. So that means a power of the transformation is being born or dawned into your own mind or into you. So this is very crucial, and then we also have to see the other side of it. If we do not do this, but we are here physically, then what's the problem? And we have to be very careful and to see, if we do not follow the advice given by Buddha, and like I just said a moment ago, then our tendency is under the influence of afflictive emotions. What we will do is that we're here listening to Buddha Dharma, but probably somewhere in our mind, the way we listen is that we will listen to the Buddha Dharma, but our basic attitude will be some kind of competition, or some kind of judge ourselves and with others, or judgmental. Or in other words, we could use Buddha Dharma, the Dharma knowledge, and to justify or to judge others. And we just keep collecting the Dharma knowledge, right, and remain skeptical and just question after question and keep investigating, but never really use them to address our own real problem. And so this is like you go to the marketing place, right? So you see this is great, and that is good, and but you cannot just keep it, and being very skeptical or sort of very picky, and but you got to see that is really something cool, and then pick it up. Right? If you think that is great, that's good, and pick it up and purchase it, and then bring to home with you. That's the way we normally do. Otherwise, we'll never end up with shopping, right? And we'll finish our shopping. So anyway, and this should be, and if you do this way, say, oh, this what I heard is really makes sense, and it's meaningful, and it's answers my question very thorough, and then you need to get this and become some kind of a good habit, right? When you develop the good habits of collecting the Buddha Dharma, and eventually these habits will sort of promote you or naturally lead you to some kind of the natural state of sort of a focused mind, okay? And that focused mind is a meditation itself, okay? So let me refresh it. So you have this, develop this correct and good attitude at the Dharma practice, the Dharma class or the Dharma lesson. I listen to the Dharma, and then you collect and you listen attentively and bring it to your heart. So this is when you make this repeatedly and make this effort on a regular basis and do it repeatedly, and eventually, and it will naturally, and your mind will some kind of a sinking into the deep, profound state of meditative, meditative state of being, and that is we call it meditation. And in other words, that so whatever you have heard will become so close to your heart, and very become you form some kind of very the closeness, intimacy, and it feels so very much feels the life itself. So in our mind, of course, the best qualities, what we always explain that aspect of our mind, right, has the wonderful qualities such as kindness, compassion, and love, and so these are like jewels actually. So we carry with us. It's embedded in our very consciousness, right? They are like a very precious the substance, and they are very powerful, right? But the problem is we do not first of all pay attention to recognize them, and then once we sort of get a sense of it, understand it, and we remain just conceptually appreciate or intellectually sort of play, and it's the soundings of from the logical perspective, but I never really try to transform this power into our own self, or our the self state of being, and so at the same time, and so we kind of they are like the mine, right? Mine or the precious the materials in the underground. But we never really, we knew that it's there, but we never open, and digging in and pull them out and use it, right? Whereas, or by contrast, what happened is that we are continuously to follow this randomly and unconsciously, and follow the negative aspect of the mind, or do play with the negativities of our mind, such as like self-pride, jealousy, attachment, and ignorance, and all those things. We just naturally follow and do it, and even in kind of reinforce its power. But of course, this is absolutely wrong, right? And so anyway, and in our mind, there's two aspects of the quality. One is the virtuous quality, represented by loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom. And then another negative aspect of quality, represented by the ignorance of, and attachment to the self, is the arrogancy or the pride and jealousy and desire and so forth, and so on and so forth. So we are really in the intersection, and in terms of which to discard, right, what to adopt, right. We are just constantly having to make this right decision in this intersection. So if it's a virtuous quality, we must engage in, must embrace it. If it's a non-virtuous action or non-virtuous policy, we must discard or try to abandon it. Because the fundamental and reality is that we do want to be happy, and we do not want to be suffering. So we have no choice. The choice is we have, if we truly want to be happy and free from cause of the suffering, and then we do need to make a right decision.
니와 샘정의 이런 바샤 발라 니 근조 상습기 샘정 샘 니기 바다 야노 다바오 당불라니 전도도니 상습기 샘정과 동 상습도니기 상습기 샘정의 이런 바오 당불라니 견기고니 전 지스다 바다 전도도니기 상습기 샘정과 예소즈네 다 섭직하시지 봐 모르는 거다 같은 거네 군주 상지 셈전 돈도 상지 셈는데 이시하고 다다 군주 상지 셈는데 적당 말하고 어디 지 넘버선 제 탐지기 동라 내리거니 니니 요래서 군주비 차지다 돈도비 차지 돈담바세도 그런 거에 내리게 그런 거에 내리게 까다지 맞대 땅하고 통통이요 말씀 아주 딱도 뺐네 말이 비드르잖아 땅하고 통통 받대 다다 말이 바 그런 그 실리리 접비지 낭차지 되나 때 통고요. 때 통화 때 건조비 차들이. 때라 아니 때라 때니 데드고 소라든 연구요. 그래서 다다나 다 건조 상집지 셈들이 돈담비 상집지 셈 돈담비 상집지 셈 셈지 내리 뭐마디 결혼 하도 또 소해나 결혼 배들은 무슨 그지 요모 얘기 말이 봐 미시와 탐지 이게 엄버서 상기에 차로. 그래서 선지 내리 또 아주 또 특이요. 근데 선지 좀 되게 배고 샘지 내리 때라 저와 용지 매라지 하고 타마타마 몸좀 타마타마다 거는 거. 이게 바로 얘네는 사스트스 오슨도 맞은 더스다고 치 코인일. 근데 살았던 저 고로머니 마무리하고 있는 시내버샤. 근데 아니 그렇게 배 뭐이들 또 되니 아니 공장벌 정리 배게 너무 뭐 나와 먹어도 치셔요. 말도 타마다 아니 저 베이지네 지금 딱 갑도 늦어라 뭐 양지게 끝내 놓는데 양지 딱 치트마 시에로 또 리로즈 닐모마 또 깔고 이나 치 탐지기 땅에 닐기니요. 딱 먼저비 차세 등하고 말하고 터무기 나서게 위 남는 땅하고 리용도 온 것들이 나는 거 맞아. 그래서 다 내땅으로 시험 군주 상지 세번 받을 때 말하고 다 돈도 상지 샘기는 거 맞지 그걸 단답에 그래서 꼭 갖고 오다 간 맞는데 마음 소식 그랬어요. 보통 상습지 샘정 와라 전도 돈이 땅 상습 돈이 인도 봐니 이제 정세 당보다 벌써 일기 샘진 늑박풍이 이롱기 나바전 통기위 스탄발라 대답게 드파는 임리 링기고네 좋아인데 년기쇼라 용도 라이쇼라 이몽 와마라 동용 겨울 통니 샘진 탐지 년도 공부인다 년기 타트바 마이버 시위티 전 마르시와 전자마 전조와슴 공기 용기 나바전데 드파오 스탄보들 근데 파파 시반 하이 종리 종라테니 종위쇼라 랑 치버 좀비 년기 예무 공부 고타마니 삼테 종와도 제치원 좀비 하면 고타마니 삼테 돈데 일 심폰스 항위 항상 디와 용기 나바전데 드파인다 야시침부 차카위 상측 샘정위 철대 샤말라테니 임비 델라 차팔라 니즈 랑치울 랑신진지 예무 삼 미군이 도르샤 담바 당진 진진지 파연선 미군이 담바 오즈니 어떤데 봐 어떤 내 가르쳐 온 거는 또 제동 안에 다 성지 좀 든든히 봐마진 포바 토마도 고버들도 포토멜리 소마 길이용의 어쩌 상치 샘 정례를 봐서 때라 호중지 등을 봐놓고 가르쳐도 간다즈도 상치 샘세야 간다즈 때 넘바니 등단 맞지 그래서 넘바니 때 간다즈 잡으르나 전도 돈이 진다 바다랑 상치 돈이 진다 많이 용 그래서 전도 돈이 진다 봐서 간다지 접 그래서 제동 말아도 제동가 말아도 삼는 당보 마드니 비싸신 보스 tellat니 랑통 젠지 캬브르 니치 근데 저기 나라데 니년지 가고 있어서 여기 다들 뭐가서 꼴중에 동용 초라 강함에 왔지 리 다등지 요래서 대자다 당보 탐지 결혼 탐지라 심지 탐지 능력이 트랙을 찍고 되니 저 세발라 당보 좀 심지 탐지 용 있다 맞지 공부 그래서 semna 정보를 있다고 잡을 세발라 가고 그래서 말아도 직동 남아나 좀더 지용 그 전에 말아도 직든 니 강리다 같은 치수다 센터 이슈도 소소 말이다. 진짜다 마티 인사 마티가 있던 말 진짜 마 소소 같은 센터 이슈다 마텔라 때니 마티 같은 친구 임바 하고는 마텔라 티 같은 준비고는 마 같은 마 센터 이용하도 마 같은 친구를 같은 친구 가르스는 바로 리트에 때니 배 공부 나와 먹보다 기대했더니 사마 마도네 아론 로드치암 시티 하도 오도 마족다든 미그족다든 비카체 샤튼 칼라사도 소바 로통 차통 지조네 용안서는 마도 센트리오다 그때 다가서 치수지 잡지는 님쯤면라티 아주 욕부지어 될라 찬다 까기 오마로 통신 파마 딘디증 마소 중제도 마 파마세트 같은 사업 마트 같은 친구다 마트 같은 친구도 용진 삼반 마트 같은 친구를 같은 데 미소고래서 셈나도 용지 용 그랬을 때다 디 나즈는 심진 탐지 마 이마 가르스나 마 이마 단다 미친 디게 마디 때 같은 친구 바터 들이 와노 저 토마면 받는 아주 저 라면 아주 저 기질 마 참마 마이마 그 사마이나 어떤 미 참마 한도고 때 코에 굉장히 때다 콜 다즈니 딕차 삼닝 거 말이 가서 내가 껴와 뭐 공이 마기 요치 바리 때는 나다 판토요 때다 근데 지난 심지 탐지 용을 심지 옛도 와 초나 근데 심지도 능을 통해서 들리 단독 삼바요 랑진 기가 대화당 대응을 때라 차도 기가 남성대 성어 가고 선나시 선 대화당 대나 삼바 대화당 대바 통해나 선나 가지 그러네 다 참여자 당진 그 용고를 통보 심지 담지 동용 치다 근데 옛도 용고 삼바 대인 형지 등다 가서 찾아 레비 용고자 어떻게 거다 뜻지는 뭐바이나 공부 그랬어 아니 당부 점지 막아도 지고니 원통 치래 좀 맞지 다 이와 봐봐 조직 처분 하나 당신 얌지고니 너 메이도 대원도 받아서 전기 대원도 그니 등은 것도 전기 등은도 뭐 식발에 때 양지 뭐 나로나 당신 얌지 됐지 펜트로라 되지네 어때 양지 조직 처분한 거를 받듯이 오늘 뜻이 공부를 다다디 다 야치 야체부 차가위 샘기 로정통도 안 심하다 조직 처분 당신 얌지고니 로정통대지 어떤 데 뜻이고 또
Alright, so now on your copy 46 here, exchanging yourself with others through acknowledging the faults of selfishness and the advantage of concern for others. The great pioneers have explained that, in general, cultivating the awakening mind involves the twofold activities of being concerned with the welfare of others and being concerned with the enlightenment. With regard to the first, we should see those sentient beings who are the objects of our concern as being equally pleasing and agreeable. The way to achieve this include beings led through the method of 7 causes and 1 result. 7 causes and 1 result. Having realized that relative arouse feelings of pleasure, and enemies arouse feelings of unease, and those who are neither giving rise to feelings of indifferences. Mediate on all sentient beings as being close to you, although in reality all sentient beings are not your mother, but by meditating on recognizing them as your mother, remembering their kindness and wishing to repay it, generate a sense of their being attractive. According to the training that followed the exalted Shantideva tradition, once we have grasped the many disadvantage of self-centered attitude, we will be inclined to give it up and realizing the many benefits of appreciating others. We will generate a sense of sentient beings who are the object of our concern as being attractive and pleasant and dear to us. Since the great conqueror's son, Chakava, the technique for cultivating the awakening mind relies upon the later of those two approaches, and he explained his explanation as two sections of showing what is to be given up by contemplating the disadvantage of selfishness, and showing what is to be put into practice through contemplating the benefits of concern for others. Okay, so in general, and we know, once your persuasion or your effort, and when you make an effort to understand the Bodhicitta, the awakening mind, there has two, generally speaking, two different traditions. One tradition is initiated by Nagarjuna, the great eminent ancient Indian master Nagarjuna, and another tradition is initiated by the great Bodhisattva master Shantideva. So there's two traditions. Whichever this tradition you may find personally is sort of appealing and resonate the most. But basically, we got to understand that the Bodhicitta has two, it has marked by sort of two important qualities. Like here, it says that has took and concerned with involved with the twofold activities of being concerned with the welfare of others. Okay, so your practice of awakening mind, right, essentially involved with the twofold activities of being concerned with the welfare of others and being concerned with enlightenment. So we call this two aspirations. The aspirations, and the first aspiration is that you are so much so inspired and wishing you can address, you can finish, help it, you can address, you can help all sentient beings and free them from this the suffering and the causes of suffering. So this is the first aspiration and or the first the concerns of the first concern, and then at the same time, so another aspiration of Bodhicitta, and which is involved with the concerned about the welfare of being concerned with the enlightenment. Okay, so here you understand and you want to address and help out and all sentient beings. At the same time, so you have this strong and determination, and you want to attain the enlightenment. Okay, enlightenment. So enlightenment is your one concern, and involved with others' well-being. And free all sentient being and from suffering, and is another the aspect of the trainings of bodhicitta. And so, and this concern with others, right? Bodhicitta basically is concerning is fundamentally is merely actually, and it's merely is about the concerning and focusing on, and is all about the welfare of others, right? And so. Before we go further, we should take a moment to examine our own basic or general attitude. Okay, our daily and basic or general attitude is like this. So when we senses right our own existence, so we will first have this sense of I or my and me here, right? That's I. Right, I-oriented experiences, right, and then from there, what happened is that we're going to have this sense of all others, right? Something it's not it's about not others. You will have the experience of not other, and then so what happened is and then and you have the third sort of experience. Or knowledge, and that is the others, the person or the thing, and is neither you and no other, no the other, but is neutral. Okay, so it's not me, you anymore, not others anymore, but it's something in between. That is neutral, and so this is our basic, general, and ordinary mentality and mental attitude. And when you take one more step further to investigate or examine and what this attitude, right, the basic attitude and doing, and how to do it, how to affect you, and then you will see that your sense of me or I and is kind of very protecting and very much sort of locked in, and or essentially is oriented by seeking or secure the self-interest, the benefits or the interest which related to this me, this I, right? And at the same time, and so your sense of other, right? And which is you make it again as distinction within that other. Say, oh, a particular group of them is your friends, your family, or your beloved ones. So you take them and feel them as very close to you and important to you, and at the same time, and you will group in or you classify and label others as a view, see others as hostile, and some and others are an enemy, and consider you dislike them, and then so the other category is that they do neither anything and you feel that's beneficial or related to your individual's interest. And also not really doing anything, and you don't see anything that's kind of threatening or harm, being challenged, and then you're going to ignore so show no interest. So that you put them into the very neutral, and sort of just keep them away from your attention, and. So this is our fundamental and general and basic mentality. But to be successful in the trainings of bodhicitta, and we have to get rid of this this wrong and mistaken attitude. The way to begin our training, begin our practice, is that we have to start equalizing, Okay, equalizing everybody, bring everyone on the same kind of state of being, and make them based on a clear understanding, look at them equally and or non-discriminatively. Okay, and we must get rid of this discrimination and or this kind of judgmental and self-interest oriented mental attitude. But look at everyone is absolutely the same, right? And then once you make it everyone is equal, and you can begin to think of begin to develop a form of mind, and that mind is help you to make develop you and the sense of closeness. Okay, closeness with all those sentient beings and who are in the you already set them in the neutral state. You equalize them in the equal, and this the way to develop this sense of closeness, feel so dear and feels very lovable, agreeable, and very much feels intimacy. And to experience the intimacy with all sentient beings, and here the training that given to us is there's two forms of training, and the one training is that involved with the seven the causes seven yes it calls the seven quintessential instructions and of cause and effect. Or in what here's in the text in this textbook, it talks about seven causes. What's I just remembered it. I can't remember. So it's called the seven and something. It's yeah I can remember. I find it in textbook. So anyway, generally other way translation. Different translation says seven quintessential instructions of cause and effect, meaning that so you began to develop the sense of closeness, sense of intimacy with all other sentient beings by reflecting upon the kindness of your mother in this lifetime. Okay, the mother you had in this lifetime. And by reflecting, thinking of how what and how your mother of this lifetime did to you, especially began with the 9 months of pregnancy and the form of hardship she experienced in order to taking care and protect you and taking care of you, and then after that, and how much has she been went through this very painful and the labor process, and then after that, how much, and then she again, and out of a great deal of love, and to taking care of you, feed you, and clean up you, and dress, and give you food, and make sure you are safe, right? And then began to teach you the basic survival skills and the language and so on and so forth. So if you reflect on all this true and the true and the real experiences of what your mother has been have done for you and to you in this lifetime, and then apply in this very experience, this truth, and then to others sentient beings. Just think that from beginningless of a lifetime, and so you've been born before this lifetime. So when you in the previous lifetime you had a mother and who also did the same thing. And then you go on and on, and then think all sentient being has been at some point been your mother in the past. So therefore, and since all sentient being at some point has been your mother, and so the way they treat you, and like when you're born, it's just like a piece of flesh, right? Piece of flesh. You really, and you have no way to survive. But your mother is I made a great deal of effort and paid a very close attention and out of great love, and who bring you up, right, and raised you up, and but the truth is, on the process of really making you be able to and self-sufficient. And the sad truth is that we never pay her a penny. Okay, she did all this without any payment, receiving any payment. So think of this, and then we know we owe our mother in this lifetime. Similarly, we owe we use the same similar logical reasoning. We know we also owe all other sentient beings. So through this analysis, through this, by reflecting upon such a reality, then you can, from the state of equal, right, equanimity or equal, by equalizing, and after you equalize all sentient being, and then you can, and through this, the practice of 7 quintessential instructions of cause and effect, and by recognizing mother and all sentient being mother, and you want to repair the kindness. And give kindness and want to repair the kindness, so then you can develop this closeness, sense of closeness and intimacy, and feel them very dear to you. So this is the form for the training, and another form of the training is initiated by the Shantijiva, the Shia, in this text, the Chakawa. The Geshe Chakawa, the author used Geshe Chakawa's quotes from him, and that is the training of exchange yourself with the others. Okay, exchange yourself with others. I personally, between these two different forms of training of the awakening mind, I personally find that exchange yourself with others. This technique is more, personally more resonating and feels more personally feels more powerful. And so again, the thing is this: when you really develop the closeness with all sentient beings by the technique of either is 7 and through the 7 quintessential instructions of the cause and the effect, or the exchange yourself with others. And so what happens is how they affect you is that now. So after the training, so when you see others are happy, right, and successful, you will rejoice them. You will naturally feel, yeah, that's so great. Good for them, good for you, or good for her. And you will really good for her here. And even previously, when you see us very successful, doing well, and happy, and if you feel jealous, right, and feel there's some sense of bitterness, right, in your mind, but often as the result of the successful bodhicitta, the training of the bodhicitta, the conventional bodhicitta, by the means of quintessential instructions of the cause and effect, or the exchanging yourself with others, now you feel so happy for them, and you will experience no slight of jealousy or feel the threat and at all. And and then further, right, you are genuinely wishing others to be happy and enjoyed with unlimited causes for happiness. And at the same time, you wishing others to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, and you will do anything about it, right? So this is you are naturally engaging in the practice what we call the 4 immeasurable thoughts, the meditations of 4 immeasurable thoughts. So anyway, and that's what I like to comment on the Best Strong, what the text says here. Oh yeah. Okay. So, if you have a copy of your translation and textbook, the mind training, like the ray of the sun, please go to page 46. Okay, so here we're going to learn the subject is about the bodhicitta, the awakening mind. So exchanging yourself with others, and through the knowledge and the faults of selfishness and the advantage of concern for others. And here, and the author says that the great pioneers have explained that in general, cultivating the awakening mind involves the twofold activities of being concerned with the welfare of others and being concerned with the ultimate, the enlightenment. I'm sorry, I made a jump, I'm sorry. It's on page 45. Okay, 45. My apology. So actual training for cultivating the awakening mind. Okay. The actual training technique for cultivating the awakening mind. The stage for training the mind are explained in two sections. The actual training in the conventional awakening mind, and the 5 precepts that are factors of the training. The actual training deal with the conventional awakening mind concerned with the welfare of others, which is explained by means of the teaching on exchange self with others, and the way to cultivate the awakening mind that is actually concerned with the interest of others, and the awakening mind concerned with the training of the fully awakened state of being. And so here, and so we are attempted to understand the hardcore and the core or the heart of the Mahayana teaching, that is bodhicitta. And so then, what is the bodhicitta, right? So generally speaking, there's 2 forms of bodhicitta, and so 2 forms of bodhicitta, and so like Shantideva in Avatara, the Bodhisattva's, the guide to the way, and the Bodhisattva's way of life, and essentially is that the mind resolved on awakening, and the conventional bodhicitta and the ultimate bodhicitta. So conventional bodhicitta, first of all, and is something that kind of a common, involved with our common, something that's common to all of us, and well, this is a shared experience, and a phenomenon that's empirical. So that is empirical. That's we can perceive it, and it's basically is some kind of a sensory data. It's sensory, the reality we perceived, we experienced through our senses, and or our conventional mind. This is this is because the bodhicitta is divided into the 2 aspects, the 2 forms, like a conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. It is because in Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, it is believed that any given the object or any given the phenomena, and which always has 2 aspects. Okay, any given and the object of knowledge that always have 2 aspects. One aspect is the conventional, meaning that it is sensible, which is and it can be perceived through the by the general sort of empirical and ways. And other aspect of that very same the object of knowledge is called ultimate. Okay, it's ultimate. One is conventional, that is ultimate. The ultimate reality or aspect of the phenomena that is involved the something we call the profundity, which is profound and that is transcendent, and our sensory is beyond our sensory, and or it's no longer the object of the sense and the sphere of the sense, because it's beyond, because it's transcendent. That's why it's called ultimate, right? So so here with this same thing, and yes. So in other words, that transcends the ultimate aspect of the phenomena of each given object of knowledge is so profound, and it's inconceivable, and it cannot be understood directly perceived with our and common or general basic senses. It is because of the influence of the ignorance, the avidya, okay? The ignorance and or misinformed misperception. Due to the misperception or lack of knowledge, so under such an influence, the state of mind, we cannot, even though there's the nature of reality or the ultimate reality is there, and but under the influence of the avidya or ignorance, or lack of the misperceptions and its power, right? It becomes something is not obvious, and it's a sort of not perceivable or inconceivable. Okay, so keep that in mind, and then let's go back to the bodhicitta, and so the awakening mind, and here, as I said, we have the conventional and awakening mind, and the ultimate awakening mind. So awakening mind, yes, in general, so from the training perspective, that something that you can apply to and you can rely on, and you can so explain it, and or something that is empirical, and that is the positive qualities of it in your mind. So that is something that's empirical, and something, and you can sort of pursuing, and you can perfecting, and then of course you can convey that empirical knowledge, and you can transforming, and you can developing and increasing, and that very in the positive and or virtuous and quality, and through your spiritual practice. But with this same awakening mind, so that which is transcendent, that is the most profound aspect of that mind, is again is a convention, is the ultimate reality. That is the true mode of state of being. Is it is transcendent. So, and again, like I said before, it is not obvious. It's not revealed to your senses, and the senses. So therefore, Buddha, and it took the Buddha a great deal of effort. The Buddha Shakyamuni, and it took him a great deal of effort to searching for fully understand this transcendent aspect of the awakening mind, and through the long and the period of searching, and finally a very and a perfect and established the state of meditation, in that meditation and state of meditation. So he finally fully realized the ultimate aspect, the ultimate bodhicitta, and the transcendent the aspect of the mind, and then he fully understood it, and ultimate reality. And he himself, according to the sutra, even amazed, okay, upon to fully realize that state of the actuality, and then he cry out, or he expressed, and out of his amazement, he expressed that, and said, oh well, such a profound and illuminating and clarity and free of all conceptual elaboration and the truth. And so I know I finally achieved, I discovered. But I'm afraid, because it's so profound, it will be and difficult to let others understood and easily. So yes, in the sutra we will see such a reference, and the Buddha clearly expressed himself. But anyway, and driven by the great compassion, and Buddha decided to teach and to share his profound transcendent realization, and with the others anyway. So then he pursued to approach others and teach them accordingly. So anyway, this is before we and go furthermore, this is the background of the knowledge of the bodhicitta. Just remember that the conventional aspect of the bodhicitta and the ultimate aspect of bodhicitta. And the conventional aspect of bodhicitta, so it's something that we need to understood and then implementing and apply it and profound it. So, and before we talk about the conventional, discuss further about the conventional aspect of the bodhicitta, so we have to know that our conventional mind, we do have our conventional mind. So our conventional mind give us all kinds of experiences, right? All kinds of the sense data and the knowledge or the perceptions and the understanding and thing. But we've got to understand. So this conventional, through this conventional mind, whatever you see, right, whatever you experience or you think of, basically the things or events, the experience that you went through, it is the production of the karma, your own karma, and it is they are the productions of afflictive emotions. Okay. In other words, so prior to the enlightenment, whatever you see, and the conventional world that around you, and they are the manifestations or the productions of your own karma and the afflictive emotions. Yes, so understand this is critical, and because with this, keep this in mind, and then you can move on and to learn about the conventional bodhicitta, and then through the learning and practice of conventional, perfecting conventional bodhicitta, and then you will be able to understand the ultimate bodhicitta.
Lead County Chongare, did draw down the lead Mali Chongare, Mate Kanda Chongare, Mate Katin Chimukandare, Tensata, Katin Chimbu, but the Sema, Troy, or the Katin Chimbu, but then Katin Sobore, 애니 소소가 지금 맞힌데라 지금 파마나 조바라고 정도로이나 내가 좀 심당 교바동 진에 원다시 샤파지고 근데 소소 쓰면 때라 지금 약보지 조금 된대요나 가와 공진 맞는 거 없거든 체들라 지기다나 다 코탄다 맞는 거 없도 샤피시고 고급요를 맞는 게 막. 심지 탐지 가오를 소소한 마들 잡기 보시고 상관없어 다 같이 그러니까 지금 명하지나 다 소소 뒤쳤대 뭐는 잡네 약고 용화도 뒤치게 와시마도 되는 같은 짓을 전에 같은 짓을 담배니 소소랑 있다는 맞는데 약고지 상보지 샤워 약고지 용화도 된게 쳤다 갑순결하고 담자지 된지 다 요거 된거 보이지
Okay, so now let's practice today's meditation. And today's meditation, the theme or the object of meditative recommend is this. The response to the core teachings that we have learned today. So that is, so sit properly, right? Sit, put yourself in, sit properly and make sure everything is in place, right? As required for the meditation practice. So upon brought up you to the right. Once you everything you brought in to wherever the required for the meditation practice, then begin. Okay, by pay attention. Begin your meditation by paying attention to your body. Right? And so kind of take it that pay attention to your body, the physical object, the structure, right, which you call your body, and then look at this body, feel this body, and then think that where did I receive this body? Where this body of mine was originated? And your question is, of course, is yes, I received this body from my mother, right? Oh, right, and then so upon recognize this clearly, fully, right, and then develop the sense of appreciation, right, and the good feeling towards you, a mother, because of your mother, and because of her, and you receive, you have this body, right, and something that's kind of feels close and feels good about it, and then think about the, the other things which your mother has been done or did, right, or still have been doing and to you, which is very much beneficial and helpful. Okay, and then further to sort of strengthening and enhance your sense of appreciation, the kindness of your mother, and make that sense of closeness stronger. Stronger and firm, and from that state, right, and then kind of slightly shift your attention to other aspects of the reality, or the reality of the relationship between you and the relationship between that taking place and has been taking place, or whatever the relation happened between you and your mother in this lifetime. And so think about it. Is there anything you can recall, and because of under the special circumstances, in other words, under the influence of afflictive or disturbing emotions, and have you ever done anything that may hurt your mother's feeling and made her feel sad or feel suffered, right? And if you can recall anything, you remember it, and then generate a strong sense of regrets, right? Regrets, and then stay that reflective mode, and clearly acknowledge those misdeeds, right? And feel regrettable, and then So from that state of regrettable, and then looking and and shift to your attention to the third aspect of this relationship. That is, if your mother is still alive, right? Still alive, still around, and then develop a strong intention and strong wish that you're going to do something, make her happy, bring the happiness to her, and make her feel great about it. Right? So have the strong determination and determined you want to do it. Okay, and you want to bring the services and make her happy. And if she passed away, is no longer here with you, and then sincerely wish her well, and a prayer for her, and then also further determined, make a strong mind in your heart to say, I will have a great life, a decent life, and to honor you and to make you happy, yes, I will always have my life and lead my life to the directions where as meaningful and which is very beneficial and for others. So make this mind and determined to do so. That's then you can state that determination and hold that in your mind. And so yes, so that's what we're going to do. There you are.
Looks like